Hello, everybody. This is Dr. David Jockers, and today we're talking about the top 4 supplements to improve your sleep quality. We know that sleep in our society today, there's so many people that are suffering from the effects of sleep deprivation. And sleep in general is something that many of our ancestors, they got significantly more sleep than we do on a regular basis. And there's so many people out there that are taking things like Ambien and different sleep medications in order to get a quality night's sleep. So in today's presentation, I'm going to be going through the top causes for sleep problems. You're going to understand what would actually cause a sleep problem. I'm also going to go through the best lifestyle strategies and then key supplements that you can be taking to improve your sleep naturally. And so as we jump into this, if you don't know me, my name's Dr. David Jockers. I teach all around the country on a number of different health topics. And I really have a specialty in energy, metabolism, and digestive health. And this is my beautiful wife, Angel, my little boys, David and Joshua. And as we jump into the effects of sleep deprivation, I think we've all been there before where we just had poor sleep one night or multiple nights based on just lifestyle stress or lifestyle things that we were doing. And we experienced irritability and just felt like we had no energy. And for many people, they may have noticed that maybe their heart raced the next day, that they had more cravings. That's a really, really common thing. Yawning, just overall, you just don't make good decisions. You really don't perform well. And so basically we know that when we're sleeping, our body is really recycling neurotransmitters. It's draining metabolic waste out of the brain. Part of our brain is actually, we have our own lymphatic system in our brain. It's called the glymphatic system. And basically it helps drain basically toxic metabolites out of the brain tissue, which allows the brain tissue then regenerate. And that's so critical. If we don't sleep well, we're definitely at risk, much higher risk of developing dementia and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and different neurodegenerative disorders. But also on top of that, we're just not able to allow our immune system to function well. We have more inflammation throughout the day. We damage our metabolic rate. So we've got to get this sleeping thing down. And, really when it comes to sleep problems from a nutritional, functional health perspective, we got to look at 3 big things. Number 1, blood sugar dysregulation. That means basically we're not able to keep our blood sugar stable and balanced. Nutrient deficiencies. So there's some really key nutrients we've got to address in order to sleep well. I'm going to go through those. And then gut problems. If we have damage to our gut, leaky gut, we're not going to be able to absorb nutrients well. So we're going to end up with nutrient deficiencies. We're also going to have more inflammation. And that inflammation can make its way up to the brain and cause problems in our brain that are related to sleep problems that cause excess overexcitation of the different brain tissue, which obviously can cause a number of different problems. So as we look into this, so we look at blood sugar, we know that normally when we eat a meal, our blood sugar is going to go up. Even if it's a low carb meal, our blood sugar will go up. And normally insulin goes up, right? So insulin goes up to take the sugar out of the bloodstream and into the cells. And it should be this normal, small little spike and rise, and we should go back to a balanced state within a few hours. However, if we have either, number 1, if we're eating a high carbohydrate diet, like a poor diet in general, or number 2, if our body is just really bad, if it has poor insulin signaling and it has a state of insulin resistance, then our blood sugar goes way up. And then our insulin goes way up. And when that happens, then insulin takes the sugar out of the bloodstream, and we go past this little line where we start to notice symptoms when we get into the symptomatic stage. And basically, low blood sugar is a major cause of insomnia. In particular, it's the kind of insomnia where you wake up in the middle of the night. So there's a lot of people that I talk to, and they'll tell me, I fall asleep fine, but then I wake up in the middle of the night. It seems like I wake up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. every single day. And so this is a classic sign of reactive hypoglycemia. They ate their dinner, blood sugar was, high, but it hadn't gotten to that symptomatic point where they started to notice hypoglycemic responses until in the middle of the night. And then their body basically released a bunch of stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, in order to get glucose out of the liver and muscles and into the blood, because it thought, blood sugar's low. This is an emergency. I need to raise up blood sugar. So that's a big issue. So we need to make sure we're, in a sense, on a lower carbohydrate diet, lots of good fats to provide satiety, different things that we need to do in order to keep blood sugar stable. Magnesium key for that. Chromium, vanadium, a lot of trace minerals, really, really important for blood sugar stability, keeping stress under control. Very, very key. So that's really the first big step is good blood sugar balance. This is something we've got to address on a regular basis. Number two is, really making sure that we've got the nutrients we need to support GABA, serotonin, and melatonin. So why would somebody have low levels of GABA? GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So it helps relax the brain, cools the brain. That's good for sleep. Okay, here are the reasons why somebody might not have enough GABA. And if they don't have enough GABA, they're typically going to end up with things like anxiety, insomnia, whether it's trouble falling asleep in the beginning of the night. That's often associated with low GABA, where you can't even quiet your brain and you can't fall asleep. Or if you wake up in the middle of the night and then can't quiet your brain and can't fall back asleep, that again is associated with low GABA. So chronic stress throughout the day is a big factor with this. If you constantly feel like you're under stress, you're overwhelmed, that will deplete your GABA. If your gut is damaged, if you have bad microbial overgrowth, right, whether it's small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, overgrowth of yeast or parasites, that can all cause low GABA levels. If you're just not sleeping, that it's like a vicious cycle where it just gets worse, continues to deplete our GABA levels. Poor blood sugar stability. That's why I said that was the first big thing we got to address. Then there's something called GAD antibodies, where it's gamma amino decarboxylase antibodies. And this is the protein, GAD, the GAD protein, the GAD enzyme, basically takes glutamic acid and converts it into GABA. When we have antibodies that destroy that enzyme, we end up with excess glutamate in our brain, which is excitatory. We get low levels of GABA, high levels of excitatory neurotransmitter, which can cause a lot of problems, a lot of irritability, insomnia, migraines, different issues like that can be associated with that. And then finally, you can see some of the key nutrients: zinc, vitamin B6, magnesium, taurine, and glutamine, all really key for getting enough GABA. Okay, so a lot of people are very deficient in zinc. I see a lot of people with deficiencies in B6, magnesium. Almost everybody's deficient in magnesium. Taurine and glutamine are key amino acids. And so if you have low stomach acid levels, protein malabsorption, where you're not able to absorb enough of these amino acids and break them down well, you can end up with key amino acid deficiencies as well. So we've got to address these things as well. And so let's jump into these 4 supplements. So here are the top 4 supplements to really focus on to improve your sleep. Number 1, magnesium. And this is something I pretty much get just about everybody on. I think it's, in a sense, it makes the biggest difference in people's lives. I've seen the biggest difference making as far as quality of life when I put people on a really good magnesium supplement. The problem is a lot of people are going out and they're just buying any old standard magnesium, and typically they're really, really toxic forms, or magnesium oxide, things like that just your body doesn't absorb well. Sometimes they can have a laxative effect. You need a really good high quality magnesium that crosses the blood-brain barrier. I'll go through that. Adaptogenic herbs and as well as relaxing herbs. So some adaptogens give you a little bit more energy than others, whereas relaxing herbs are really good for calming stress hormones, boosting up GABA and helping you sleep well. And then finally, melatonin, which can be very, very helpful. First thing I like to do is use magnesium, and then I'll use the herbs, the adaptogens and relaxing herbs. Adaptogens in the daytime, relaxing herbs in the evening. And then finally, if somebody's still struggling with sleep, then we'll use melatonin. I don't like to go to that immediately, but that can definitely be helpful in the interim. It's also very good for when somebody's traveling and they might experience jet lag. Melatonin can really, really help with that as well. So magnesium, it's so critical. If you're not taking a good magnesium supplement, you're most likely not functioning at your optimal. Magnesium will really help you. It's the master mineral, very important for keeping blood sugar under control, helping improve circulation, energy. It's one of my go-tos for good energy, calming and relaxing your nervous system, and helping you sleep really good and really deep. And so best food sources of magnesium, green leafy vegetables are a great source. So eating green leafy vegetables, grass-fed dairy, particularly grass-fed butter, I like that. Avocados, dark chocolate, nuts, good salts. I like Himalayan sea salt is a really good salt. Got magnesium in there as well as 84 trace minerals. So use that on your foods. Pumpkin seeds are a great source of magnesium. Wild-caught fish, sprouts, sea vegetables like dulse and kelp. And then, believe it or not, coffee, really good source of magnesium as well. Now, different stimulating agents like coffee and dark chocolate, the only thing about them is anything that elevates stress hormones or is, in a sense, more of a stimulant is also going to use magnesium. And this is the thing. This is why it's so hard to get enough from our diet, even though I'm a huge fan of consuming all these things. I would recommend having all of these things in your diet on a regular basis, unless you have an issue with oxalates, which is a totally different story. Then we would take out the spinach and the chard. But other than that, everything else, and the chocolate, of course, and nuts, some of those other things we would take out. But for the most part, these are all really, really good sources of magnesium, really good foods to consume. The issue is when we have blood sugar imbalances, or we have any level of insulin resistance, we need good insulin sensitivity to get magnesium into the cell to be used. So most people have some level of insulin resistance and blood sugar imbalance. Also, the more stress we're under, the more magnesium we use. So you'll notice more relaxing days, or if you're on vacation, you probably don't need to supplement with much magnesium. Whereas if you have more stressful days or more demands on you, if you're working hard, you've got a lot of demands on you, then magnesium is going to be your go-to. You're going to absolutely love it. You're going to thrive using it. And really the best one I found is a type of magnesium called magnesium L-threonate. Magnesium L-threonate. And there's several different companies that sell magnesium L-threonate. I found that using it in a powder form in water gets the best absorption. So a lot of other companies are using it in capsules, which is still a good supplement. It's a good product. If you're taking that, you will get results. Okay, but there's nothing quite like a powder form in water of magnesium L-threonate. This is a good tasting powder. It's a stevia flavor, a fruit punch flavor. Really, really good. But it's been shown to support healthy brain magnesium levels. Magnesium helps coordinate the way stress hormones are released and the way that they excite our brain tissue. It also helps with upregulation of GABA, like we talked about, as well as serotonin and melatonin for good, healthy sleep. Really good for memory and cognitive acceleration, just your ability to think sharply and quickly on the spot. I mean, if you're somebody that does any level of high performance, you want to be using a supplement like this. Very key for stress management. You'll notice that when you use this, you're able to handle a lot, basically higher and higher levels of stress without crashing, without really feeling the deleterious effects of stress. So, it really helps you boost your adaptive potential, helps improve your mood, your sleep quality, which is what we're focusing on today. And so, this is something I recommend. Vast majority of my clients, I put on magnesium. I would say the only people that I don't are people that suffer with irritable bowel with diarrhea, because that's really the number one side effect of getting too much magnesium is diarrhea. So until we get the diarrhea under control, I don't use magnesium because it will tend to be a little bit more, it's not a laxative, but it can tend to have a little bit more of that effect. So for most people, you need a little bit of extra help with moving your bowels regularly. Magnesium will help. If you use really high doses of magnesium, you can end up with diarrhea. So that's kind of the main side effect that you'll notice. If you don't normally have diarrhea, you're doing a lot of magnesium and you have it, back off the magnesium a little bit. But I've had a lot of clients and myself use, even 3 to 4 scoops a day on stressful days without having that effect. And we actually just really thrive on it. So I know for me, this is a major go-to. I use Brain Calm Magnesium on a daily basis. Okay, and so it's awesome. I use a lot less when, again, on weekends and vacations, a lot more during the week because I have really, really busy days. Constantly conversing with people all around the world, doing presentations and interviews. And so the magnesium is really my go-to for great energy, high performance, and cognitive acceleration. And it will definitely help you sleep so much better with so much more quality. So I'd recommend that. Okay, herbs that improve sleep quality. So number one thing, magnesium. Hit the magnesium. Make sure you're doing that throughout the day. If you're having trouble sleeping, definitely do it a little bit in the evening or after dinner. Would be really helpful. Okay, now second thing, herbs that improve sleep quality. Valerian is really good. Passion flower, lemon balm, lavender, chamomile, linden flower, catnip, and peppermint. These are my favorites. And you can get these in essential oils and you can diffuse, for example. Usually you don't want to use peppermint essential oil at night, okay? But if you have it in a tea, it's good. But the good ones to diffuse at night are lavender and chamomile and lemon balm. Those are all really good. Valerian can be good as well. Lavender is one of the most popular essential oils out in the market. So you can get that, you can diffuse it and you breathe it in. It's really, really good. You'll also find these in herbal teas. And I'm a huge fan of herbal teas. There's a type of tea called nighty-night tea from traditional medicinals. I love that one. And that's got a combination of different things. There is one with valerian. There's also another with chamomile and passion flower in it. And it's awesome. So these are great, just natural herbal agents that can really help you to sleep more effectively. And, we also want to, basically, how do you know if you necessarily need melatonin? Well, you can see if you have some of the symptoms of low serotonin. So sometimes there's some crossover between GABA and serotonin, but basically people with low serotonin usually are very, very moody. They usually are very, very self-critical. And typically these are people who have trouble falling asleep. So again, GABA, usually what you'll notice with GABA is you just have anxiety. Right? You're just constantly thinking, and you can't fall asleep because of that. Whereas low serotonin, it's more like you don't necessarily feel like you've got massive anxiety, but you're just not able to fall asleep. Also, seasonal affective disorder, okay, is another issue that's associated with this. So look out for that. Obsessive behavior like OCD, typically associated with low serotonin, can also get easily addicted. Fibromyalgia can oftentimes be low serotonin. So these kind of problems here can definitely benefit from doing some melatonin or some serotonin support. So like when I look at lab work, one of the labs that myself and my functional nutritionist will run is called an organic acid test. It's a urine test. And one thing we look at a number of things. We look at yeast, we look at bacterial levels in your system. If you have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or C. difficile overgrowth, we look at mitochondria and neurotransmitters and all kinds of really, really good stuff. And you can see it's neurotransmitter metabolites down here at the bottom. And you can see where it says 5-HIAA, right? And so that's actually a metabolite for serotonin. And so this person's not bad. They're kind of in that optimal zone. This person's looking good there. If that's really low, though, if I see that really low, that's a sign that person needs a boost for their serotonin. They need a little bit more support for serotonin, especially if they're noticing issues with sleep quality. Then we definitely want to support them in that area. And that's where we have the supplement called Mood Protect, which has 5-HTP, which is the best precursor for serotonin. It also has theanine in it, which helps with serotonin, melatonin production, B6, number of B vitamins, vitamin C, that all really help with the production of serotonin, as well as it also has GABA in it too. The supplement has a direct source of GABA to support GABA, to reduce anxiety. And so all of my clients that I work with that have just kind of that constant chatter in their brain, especially at night, they just can't shut it down. I use this Mood Protect. And usually I start with 2 capsules about a half hour before bed. And if that's not working enough, or it's not enough, then we'll jump up to 4 capsules. By the time we get to 4, I would say 99% of my clients are doing great with that. Every now and then we'll need some extra melatonin, and that can be very helpful, but typically we're able to address it with the Mood Protect. But again, if we do need more melatonin, we'll do it a couple different ways. One is we can use extra magnesium. We can use this magnesium good night lotion. And I'll do that, especially if the person is somebody that's waking up to go to the bathroom a lot. Then I won't do the brain calm magnesium at night. I'll still do it during the day, but at night we'll use this lotion and we'll put it on the bottoms of the feet and also on the arms. And it's got magnesium in there. It also has melatonin, and that will get right into the system and help with sleep. Okay, and then also we can do a pill form. This sleep support right here is a really good one. Good source of melatonin to go right into the system. So if you're traveling or something like that, you can travel with the sleep support, whereas unfortunately the security will take away your magnesium good night lotion. So sleep support's great if you're traveling a lot. That's usually when I go to that one. So really good for travel and for something to carry that you can use melatonin to get over jet lag. So check that out if that's you, if that's your lifestyle. And last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about grounding. This is one of the best strategies you should be doing. If you're having trouble sleeping or not, this is definitely something I teach on a regular basis. Just get your bare feet on grass, dirt, sand on a regular basis. I know my wife and I, we go for a barefoot walk every single day, and it's a really powerful health strategy for us because we get the natural free electrons from the ground. Now, this person's on rocks. I wouldn't necessarily want to do that. I'd want to do it on grass, dirt, sand, things like that. So like this person right here, you can see doing yoga. doing stretching, something along those lines. This is a great quote. This is from a book called Earthing. Martin Zucker wrote this, and he did a lot of research on this. And he said, physical disconnect with the earth creates abnormal physiology and contributes to inflammation, pain, fatigue, stress, and poor sleep. By reconnecting to the earth, symptoms are rapidly relieved and even eliminated, and recovery from surgery, injury, and athletic overexertion is accelerated. So basically just getting your body exposed to the natural free electrons coming from the ground. It's like natural antioxidants, very relaxing on our body. We're exposed to all of these harmful electromagnetic frequencies on a regular basis, and they damage our body's ability to adapt to stress. So getting out, getting bare feet, out in grass, dirt, sand, and even concrete, okay, very helpful for reducing that and helping you to just ground your electrical charge. And that's so key for sleeping well. I will be doing a future video on lifestyle strategies to help you and to help improve your sleep. And I'll tell you, one of the big ones we focus on is, hey, turning off the Wi-Fi in your house. That can make a world of difference. Just shutting down the Wi-Fi, you get that bad electromagnetic frequency out of there. And for many people, it makes a big difference. So try that out. And, if you do these things and you're still struggling with your sleep, okay, reach out to us. My functional diagnostic nutrition coordinator, Haley, she's awesome. And she'll definitely get you set up on a great plan to get you the support you need to get well. And so you can reach out to her. Her email is nutrition@drjockers.com. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of today's presentation. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, so you can get more of our trainings, more of our recipe videos, and everything else that we're doing. God bless you guys and have a great day. Bye-bye.